Hi, welcome to my workshop, and more importantly, the Workbench. This is where all the magic happens on the channel formerly known as Read the Factory Manual. But now it's called Bill's Workbench. Why? Because I think it more closely represents what's happening here on this channel. So let's take a look at the workshop. The workshop is a 10 by 10 room here in my home. And this is where all of the magic happens, where I restore all of those great Tootsie toys and Matchbox cars. Let's take a look at some of the tools that I like to use while restoring those cars. We'll start here on the left side of the workbench. On the left side of the workbench is where I keep all of my projects that are in progress, as well as some of the tools that I don't use as much and supplies as well. Some of the tools that I use a lot when restoring the cars, I use these clamps quite a bit. These are for painting or holding the car. I have quite a few of them. You get them at the Harbor Freights. I have a nice set of calipers so I can measure what's going on. And I have my wire brushes here as well as some pliers that I use quite a bit. Moving to the right, you can see I have a collection of screwdrivers and Allen wrenches, as well as some shot glasses, which I use to mix the paint. I like to mix the paint in glass shot glasses because I can clean them out afterwards, not as much mess. That's also where I keep my glue. I've got some thread there that I'm going to be using on a tow truck later on to simulate the cables in it. Below that are some other tools that I use quite a bit, some more glue, and the wash and the paint that I use for the grilling and the touch-up work. The blacks and the silvers, those paints live there. Moving along, I have my blower that I blow off the dust with, as well as some scissors and some clamps, and where I keep my files. I also have a bunch of little supplies here as well that come in quite handy. And those would be, this is where my tweezers live. I also have my some of my scales here. I have my Scarrett scales here, my punches, my hand drills. I'd want to use a scribe. It's where I keep my paintbrushes. I like to use these the small ones here. I just get them from wherever. I think I got those at Michael's, as well as my dental picks, pens, and toothbrushes are over here as well. Down below is where I keep all of my other supplies that I use. I have them labeled here, so like my baking soda when I do a repair with super glue, some OxyClean that I'll use to retrobrite the windshield that's going to be on this ice cream truck. I have my Tootsie Toy wheels right there, some washers and screws and so on and so forth. Those are the different things, as well as the projects that I'm currently working on and the projects that I want to get ready to work on. The next one I'm going to work on is this one, as well as the 3 blind mice build with this car right here, the Ford Falcon. So that's coming up soon too. I'll start working on that this weekend. I have all my different polishes that I use to polish the cars. Over on this side, this is more of the electronics area where I keep all of the electronics parts. So I have my soldering iron, I have the Raspberry Pis up there that I use in the Rover and different things like that. I also keep my sandpapers here. This is one of my favorite tools as well. This little easy touch hand sander. If you can find one of these, get it. Don't even think about not getting it. This is the best sander that I've had. I've had it for years. I don't even know if Great Plains makes them anymore, but it's a great sander. As far as screwdrivers and all that, I picked up this set right here. I really like this set of tools. Screwdrivers, it's got all the different bits in it, but what's nice about this one is when you put in the bit, it just sort of locks itself in there. It's nice and tight. Very satisfying click to that screwdriver. So I have a few rotary tools now, or 2 different ones. I have the Dremel, which I started with. I modified that one to go in reverse, and I did that so that when I use the brush up, because I find that the brushes will start to bend one way, I can throw it in the reverse one and then get some more use out of it. I just also picked up a Proxon rotary tool. It's very nice because it's very quiet and I can control the speed real well. I also picked up the sander as well, so we'll give that a try on one of the cars, see how that works. Over here on the side I have more supplies. That's where I keep the buffing wheels and the Q-tips and all the other parts, all of the decals and things like that. I keep them in those nice containers. Above that, this is a bunch of resistors for when I start doing the robot again, as well as some rivets for when I start doing Tonka trucks. Next to that are all my paints. I like the Vallejo model paint, so I've got a bunch of those, as well as the Tester enamel paints. So those are quite nice. Above that are some paints that I've tried. I also like this Tamiya clear paint. That's really good stuff too. And what else is up there that's really cool? Oh yeah, the cars. I keep my completed car collection up here as well. So as I finish the car, I'll put it up on the wall. The ones on the very top are cars that I've purchased over time that I was going to rebuild, but they turned out to be in very good shape, so I decided not to do those. But the other cars I have done and created videos on them. I don't think there's a car up there I haven't done a video on, except for maybe that tractor and that little blue car up there at the very, very top, and the big van at the very, very top. You can see we have my 3D printer. This is where I print out all of my 3D stuff. I also have a resin printer that's in the garage because it's stinky. And I'm going to be using that on this next build, this next 3 blind mice build. I have a color laser printer as well. And the color laser printer is what I use to print my decals and my stickers now. And then down below that, I have a Cricut that cuts out all of the decals. As we move around, there's my editing station. That's where I edit all the videos. And my paint booth. I have my paint booth inside the workshop as well. It makes it very nice. I don't have to go back out to the garage in order to paint. So I've put it inside. Made a little booth for it with some filters so it filters out the air. I really only paint with acrylic in the paint booth. I don't do much enamel at all. When I do enamel, I do take it outside because I don't want to smell the enamel here in the workshop. Up above is the Great Mojave Rover. I got to get that working, as well as my garage diorama that you saw some photos of and some of the other videos that I have done. This is where I keep all of my supplies, as well as my other photo printer and the drill and things like that. So there you go. There is my workbench. I hope you enjoyed this little tour, and I hope you enjoy the channel. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and like and do all that good stuff. And don't worry, even though the channel has changed its name, it's still going to be the same old stuff. Maybe better quality as we go along. That's what I'm striving to do. Thank you for watching, and hey, have that great day.